Arnab Goswami on the debate.
The Congress party is suddenly asking whether everything that we have been fighting with the Chinese on border issues and questions of trade imbalance have been solved with Narendra Modi meeting Xi Jinping, and the simple answer is no, it's not. You have to be totally naive to expect that 76 years of a yo-yo relationship, in which for at least over 60 years the Congress deliberately gave the Chinese an upper hand, can be fixed in one 45-minute meeting. No, it can't and it won't. In any case, the Congress has no business asking, what is the Congress? We all know the Congress is a pro-China party. It's a pro-China party. It has a secret written agreement with the Chinese Communist Party, which rules China. There are allegations that foundations linked to top Congress leaders have accepted money through Chinese embassy sources. Xi Jinping was there, see the pictures, when Rahul Gandhi was forced to sign some clandestine agreement with the Chinese Communist Party. The Congress Party's Nehru loved the Chinese so much, he loved the Chinese so much that he said, so what if the Chinese took Aksai Chin? He justified losing Aksai Chin to China as a place where, in his words, quote, not a blade of grass grows. Where did Nehru think Aksai Chin was? That not a blade of grass grew or grows? In Mars? No, what the Vadra Gandhi family has done with the Chinese, ladies and gentlemen, actually is very suspicious. They refused to accept a Security Council seat in 1950, saying, Pehle aap, to the Chinese. And here we are 74 years later, banning Chinese apps like TikTok, PUBG and Alibaba, and still fighting for that Security Council seat that Rahul Gandhi's great-grandfather gave away to the Chinese. They have no business asking questions. The Congress party is a pro-China party. And the Congress party, as a pro-China party, refused to even build roads. They just refused to build roads and infrastructure for our army to reach the border. And Sonia Gandhi's defense minister, A.K. Antony, said, having no border infrastructure, which means having no system to protect ourselves, is the best defense vis-a-vis China. I dare anyone from the Congress party at a senior level to face me on a debate and justify why they went out of their way to please China for 60 years. Could it be because some Congress leaders are strategic assets for the Chinese? What exactly is in that MoU between the Congress party and the Communist Party of China, the CCP? What is in that agreement? Why did the Congress deny a secret meeting between Liu Xiaohui and Rahul Gandhi when the Doklam standoff was going on? They said, no, we've not met the Chinese. Why did the Congress party lie about that meeting and say it didn't happen, only for the Chinese embassy to confirm that no, the meeting did happen? Viewers, these are questions every Indian must ask. We must corner the Congress party on these questions. And once again, any senior leader of the Congress party is welcome to debate these issues directly with me. I know they won't, I know they can't face me, but perhaps if you forward this video widely enough to force them to, perhaps they will. My invitation, ladies and gentlemen, always open. I come to you with 4 quick debates tonight. First, why I believe the Congress party has no business asking any questions on China. Debate number 2 this evening, viewers. Why can't you have Diwali celebrations in Jamia Millia Islamia? How is that secularism? Debate number 3 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Can we trust China? And debate number 4 this evening, viewers, on a really packed show this evening. Republic Mega exclusive. Picture of the man behind the Gandarbal attack. That's debate 4, and here are the headlines this Wednesday evening on the Debate Tonight. After 5 long years, Modi and Xi Jinping hold a crucial bilateral meeting. This is unprecedented as an encounter which comes on the back of massive breakthroughs in the LAC. Even as India and China make remarkable strides, not complete, though, on the border situation, the Congress does what it does best, cast aspersions once again. The Kazan declaration has officially been adopted. After powerful speeches by Prime Minister Modi, Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping, India leads the charge. And tension on the Jamia Millia Islamia campus as students celebrating Diwali with a Rangoli competition and lamp lighting are confronted by a disruptive group. And it's a Republic mega exclusive where we have accessed first visuals of Gandarbal terrorist responsible for the deadly attack that claimed the lives of 7 people on October the 20th. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I start first with the Congress Party's questions, or should I say, rather non-questions, questioning the outcome of what has been a very historic meeting after 5 years between Xi Jinping and Narendra Modi. Political debate. Here's what happened. Here's the so-called controversy.
They announced that it has come to a petrol agreement with China vis-a-vis its dispute along the LAC. The Congress has come out once again questioning the government.
Despite staring down China militarily, despite forcing a hard negotiation on them, despite succeeding in establishing status quo ante, and despite managing the global diplomatic fallout, the Congress Party manages to pan the Modi government for its success. Obviously, opposing for the sake of opposition seems to be the byword for Congress politics now.
Congress's questions come at a time when both India and China are holding their first bilateral meeting in 5 years, as the two Asian giants look at normalizing ties after years of border standoff. However, the Congress has quite conveniently omitted some facts on the India-China LAC dispute that the Modi government inherited from the Congress era, particularly in Depsang.
The offensive moves of the Chinese were in 2009. Who was in power then? Sonia and Manmohan. From the track junction Nala to the south at the Butse Depsang plains. Then in 2013, who was in power then? Sonia and Manmohan. Then in 2013, the PLA of China, the Chinese army, set up camps 12 to 13 kilometers into our territory, preventing Indian patrolling at different points. Who was in power then? Sonia and Manmohan, and indirectly Rahul. They should just keep their mouths shut, because today, when the Modi government is fixing that Congress era mess, where are the secularati?
While the Congress has decided to raise questions on the petrol agreement, it remains radio silent on its memorandum of understanding that was signed between the then Chinese Vice President and Standing Committee member of the CPC, Xi Jinping, and Congress General Secretary Rahul Gandhi. From secret meetings with Chinese diplomats during the peak of the Doklam crisis to going on foreign soil and praising China,
the West has an employment problem. India has an employment problem. But there are many countries in the world that don't really have an employment problem. China certainly doesn't have an employment problem. And if you look today, China is dominating global production. You go to India, you look at the phones, you look at the furniture, you look at clothes, you'll see on the back, made in China.
To lecturing the government on China relations after taking classes from China, Rahul has done it all.
My concern, and frankly I've had conversations, I've had one conversation with the foreign minister. In my view, he doesn't understand the threat. He just doesn't understand it. The government is not understanding the actual threat from China.
I would have offered to take classes on China from Rahul Gandhi. But I discovered he was taking classes on China from the Chinese ambassador.
As India takes center stage at the BRICS summit with its clear talk and formidable diplomacy with BRICS allies, why is Congress nervous about potential normalization between China and the Indian government?
Abhijit, I want to start with you. That last line in that news package which said, why is the Congress nervous about potential normalization of the relation with the Chinese? Is it that the Congress feels that as strategic assets of the Chinese, they will lose their utility? They will lose their utility as strategic assets for the Chinese if things become better at a government-to-government level?
Arnab, I don't have a very high opinion of Chinese foresight. But even by the Chinese standards, if Rahul and the Congress were the assets that they want to invest in, then they're not terribly smart people. But best of luck to them. I think this is a more domestic issue personally, because you see, there is nothing the government can do that he will not attack the government for. If the situation with China escalates, it's your fault. If the situation normalizes, it's your fault. And why is it your fault? Because you didn't get back you normalized the situation without getting all the land back that my great-grandfather lost in 62, sorry. So you see, this is, first, it is a blame externalization mechanism. The Congress won't accept responsibility for anything. Everything is Modi's fault. That you don't get back the land lost in 1962 is also Modi's fault. Even if you start building roads, helipad infrastructure, tunnels and things, all of which had been hollowed out, ignored so deliberately in the last 70 years, if they start doing that, that is also a fault. There's basically no way you can get out of this. But this is what we've expected from Rahul.
What their point is now, I also find this overconfidence, the way they speak, what they are basically asking in these questions that Jairam Ramesh is asking the government, basically what Jairam Ramesh is saying is that we messed up, the Chinese became aggressive on Depsang, Budse, we messed up on the 30-kilometer road that the Chinese built from Raki Nala to cut to the Depsang plains. We messed up there, we messed up here. And in the Sham Saran report, it said that India has lost 640 square kilometers due to area denial by the PLA. What they're asking now, Ajay Alok, what the Congress party is saying is, have you been able to clean up our mess? We messed up, have you been able to clean up our mess? The answer is, out here, it will take time to clean up the mess. Their mess is so major. It will be cleaned up, but does the person who's made the mess have the right to ask this question? Ajay Alok, does the person who's made the mess have the right to ask this question? Ajay.
I can figure out your question. Let me tell you, we have seen times
Louder.
when we were in opposition,
Louder.
but whenever there was a question of
I can't hear.
external threat, all inner political
Louder.
differences were kept aside and opposition used to stand with the government. This situation has reversed, but not with the complete whole opposition, but with particularly a family which is actually taking a lead of the opposition. I mean, this is really shameful that you are raising a question about breaking down the breaking down of ice between India and China, and that too on India's term, and you are not happy about it. You are rather questioning the government that yes, we have questions about patrolling, why the land was not taken. People like Asauddin Owaisi and all, they are saying, oh, that means in 2019 Prime Minister lied that no one came inside. They don't have an iota of idea. Again, they are insulting the Indian Army, Ministry of External Affairs, Minister of External Affairs, and everyone, National Security Advisor. They don't have any iota of trust on the system of this country because everything has been destroyed by Modi. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Now, if you look into the geopolitics, it's a very big event what has happened today. Because this BRICS is there and is controlling the life of 40% population of the globe. And this BRICS has 37% of GDP, more than the G7, which is only 29%. And definitely China is also looking into various facts that why they need to have good ties with India. India is definitely a growing economy with a positive growth rate of 7% almost a year, and Chinese economy is failing. And if they keep on fighting with their neighbors all the time, how they are going to be in the world politics? So that is the most important factor. And of course, Russia is also playing its part. And it's really commendable for our Prime Minister to lead the meeting and get the favorable results. But this is not going into the heads of the Congress. This is the problem, because they don't think that it's India which is winning. It's not Narendra Modi who's winning, but this is heights of frustration and nothing else.
No,
Today I see this as a historic day,
I think Congress should not. Congress should not. Yeah, I think Congress should not ask questions on.
We have to build trust. That's
Yeah,
what Prime Minister's message was.
I feel Ajay, Congress should not ask questions on
God save
China.
Congress party from all these kind of leaders.
Yeah.
Who are just ruining them here and there. And what has happened?
Let me get Gyanendra and Akhil in. Ajay, I got that point. I think Congress should not ask questions on China because Congress is a pro-China party. Everybody, every viewer, everybody on my program, I will open the line. Congress is a known pro-China party. And the country has paid the price for the Gandhi Vadra family's love for the Chinese. I don't know why they love the Chinese so much. They almost appear to be, servile to the Chinese. Right? And they should keep their mouth shut, Akhil Swami, about China. Because if they make one point on China, I will give 20 answers back. They will have no answers. Right? So I think we should not waste our time. They should keep their mouth shut because their hand is in the cookie jar. Their behavior is suspect. They have been caught stealing. And there's no point saying we did not steal when you've been caught red-handed. So I don't know why they are doing this, Akhil. I mean, I don't know. A party that gave away Aksai Chin. A party that gave away Aksai Chin and says, kuch nahi hota, de diya unko. Not a blade of grass grows. They were willing to give up Assam. Nehru wanted to give up Assam. He said, my heart goes out to the people of Assam. He gave the Security Council seat. He says, main kabhi nahi lunga. It has to be the Chinese first. First give China a Security Council seat and then we will consider. And now the same Congress party is saying, why has Masood Azhar not been designated a global terrorist? Arey Baba, because you people gave up the Security Council seat. Viewers, please share this video with everyone. They said, we don't want to build our borders. We don't want to build border defenses. The Chinese gussa ho jayenge. Then they went and signed a secret agreement with the Chinese, with Xi Jinping standing behind. If one of these points can be rebutted by any of the pro-Congress voices, one point if they can say you are wrong. They mentioned Demchok in the questions. Arey, China advanced into this strategic region in the 1962 war. Check your history. It is because of Nehru's foolishness that this happened. And then they took 1.35 crores into Rajiv Gandhi Foundation from the Chinese embassy. Why? Why did they allegedly take money from the Chinese embassy for the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation? And do you know, now they are quiet, you see, they are quiet. Do you know that the Shaksham Valley was allowed by Nehru to be part of POK, and then the Pakistanis handed it over to China?
Take 30 minutes yourself.
You can't respond to a single point of mine, Akhil. You can't respond to a single point of mine. Single point of mine you can't answer.
At least for 2 minutes. 10 minutes you are speaking, 5 minutes they have spoken. Give us at least 5 minutes to eat.
I will give. Prove me wrong on one point. Any of my points. Prove me. No. Which point? Tell me which point.
Yes.
Which point? Did Nehru not give up the UN Security Council seat?
I will make 3 points. Allow me to.
I will make 3 points. Counter me on even one. एक में काउंटर नहीं होता।
अरे यार अब सुन तो लो महाराज,
वीक डिबेटर्स, अनप्रिपेयर्ड,
सुनो तो, अरे
अनप्रिपेयर्ड, वीक।
अरे महाराज सुन तो लो महाराज, बोलने तो दो। अब सुनो, नंबर 1, out of 142 crores population of the country, just exclude Bhaks and the Godi media channels, every Indian feels that China cannot be dependent. For last 10 years, we are not buying the lights for Diwali from China because there is a campaign in the social media. Now I do not understand, because after 8 days Diwali is there, whether I have to buy from China. And I can tell you, my guess is Adani must be having a great project going on with China, because Sri Lankan government has
आपको कुछ समझ ही में नहीं आता।
अरे यार सुन तो लो,
अक्साई चिन्ह दे दी, सीक्रेट एग्रीमेंट रख ली, चुपचाप उनके साथ एग्रीमेंट है, उनसे पैसा लेते हो, उनसे पैसा लेते हो, उनसे सीक्रेट मीटिंग करते हो 5 स्टार होटल में डोकलाम के समय। तो राहुल गांधी ने क्यों बोला कि मैंने चाइनीज एम्बेसडर से मीटिंग नहीं की?
अरे यार तो
मीटिंग की थी ना, छुपाने की कोशिश क्यों की? छुपाने की कोशिश क्यों की? छुपाने की कोशिश क्यों की?
आपने जो
Why did he try to hide the secret meeting?
आपने जो साबरमती
जब पैदा नहीं हुए थे तब मैंने आईटी से इंजीनियरिंग पास की थी, इसलिए शांति से मेरी बात सुनो। चाइना के हाथ में अडानी का बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट है। श्रीलंकन गवर्नमेंट फेल, बांग्लादेश गवर्नमेंट फेल, बिकॉज दोज गवर्नमेंट्स हैड ए डील विद अडानी। Ex Prime Minister of Kenya says that Prime Minister Modi was putting pressure on him just to have a project of Adani. I can tell you within.
So you want a Chinese company to go? You are for the Chinese company. You don't want Adani. आप अलीबाबा को चाहते हो?
अरे
आप अलीबाबा के प्रवक्ता हो?
विश्वास नहीं करता हिंदुस्तान।
आप पबजी के प्रवक्ता हो?
हिंदुस्तान का
आप टिकटॉक के प्रवक्ता हो?
अरे
are you accepting this?
You are a spokesperson of TikTok.
Are you accepting this fact that this talk has been started just because there is a big project of Adani supposed to come into China? This is what Mr. Patel Swami is raising the point. You just get answer to that.
या जयशंकर ने यहाँ जेएनयू से पढ़ाई की है, ये बता रहे हैं, वहां पे जाके डोनाल्ड ट्रंप की कन्वेंसिंग करते हैं और जीत जाते हैं बाइडेन। इस बार कमला हैरिस की करेंगे या डोनाल्ड ट्रंप की करेंगे, उनको यही नहीं पता है। कभी इजराइल से मिल लेते हैं, कभी यूक्रेन से मिल लेते हैं, कभी रूस से मिल लेते हैं। अब चाइना के हाथ में अडानी का बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट आ गया है। लिख के दे रहा हूँ आज आप।
We are discussing India-China deadlock and you're talking about Adani. Look at your grey beta's expertise.
अरे ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज नॉट मिस्टर मोदी, प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज मिस्टर अडानी, गौतम अडानी।
You are so obsessed with Adani. I'll send you a recommendation that he should do something for you. You are so obsessed with Adani that you are not seeing the success of India today. You are not happy with the success of your own country.
अरे मैं टीचर हूँ गुरुजी, आप डॉक्टर हैं, क्लिनिक चलाते हैं बहुत बड़ा, मैं अध्यापक हूँ। मार देगा ना
भैया, कैसी पढ़ाई आप पढ़ा रहे हैं? आप कैसी पढ़ाई पढ़ा रहे हैं? हम तो यहाँ पे चाइना को डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, आप अडानी को ले आए, आप श्रीलंका को ले आए, आप केन्या को ले आए। आपकी नेगेटिविटी किस लेवल तक है?
अरे डॉक्टर साहब,
आपकी नेगेटिविटी किस लेवल पे है? या तो बोल दीजिए कि चाइना के बारे में मुझे कुछ नहीं पता है, मैं नहीं बोलूंगा।
एमए एंटायर पॉलिटिकल साइंस की है क्या?
आप तो उस वक्त जवान ही ना होंगे जब 1962 वॉर हुआ था। Name one prime minister in this whole world or any president in the whole world when the country is facing a war and that prime minister or president asked the air force not to hit.
आप जैसे बच्चों को
मैं नहीं पैदा हुआ था, मैं तो पढ़ा, आप तो थे पढ़े हुए, आप पैदा थे ना उस वक्त।
जैसे लोगों को
भाई आप पैदा हो चुके थे ना। 62 के वॉर में इंडियन एयरफोर्स क्यों नहीं यूज किया नेहरू जी ने?
अरे तो आज चीन में क्यों खेल रहे हो भाई? जब
चाइना से क्या मोहब्बत थी उनको?
जब बार बार धोखा खाए, अब
हम क्यों खेलेंगे चीन के गोद से?
अब उनकी गोद में क्यों बैठ रहे हो?
हम गोद में नहीं खेल रहे हैं, गोद में तो आप खेलते हैं 65 साल से। 65 साल से आप गोद में खेलते हैं।
1 minute.
और देश को खिलाते हैं।
Akhil Swami, I want to tell you something. I don't know about Gyanendra. I don't know about Akhil Swami. 1 minute. Akhil Swami, please let me tell you something. I'm not teaching you, but except you, none of us was born. Everyone on air. You are the only person on the panel who was in this world in 1962. हम तो पैदा भी नहीं हुए थे, है ना? तो ये मान के चलिए आप 1962 भूल कैसे गए?
नहीं भूला,
1962 नहीं
अरे
भूला।
नेहरू जी ने धोखा खाया था, ये मोदी जी
धोखा
धोखा
खाया।
कर रहे हैं।
अरे 2.5 साल पहले 2.5 years earlier, Abhijit, 2.5 years earlier he was warned. He and VK Krishna Menon were warned. He said कुछ नहीं होगा. Give the Security Council seat to the Chinese. I want to give them the Security Council seat. How do I not believe that Nehru was working for Chinese
He was
interests?
warned several times by Sardar Patel to not accept, to not even recognize
Abhijit's
China
audio.
as a border.
Abhijit's audio. Come on, Sharat.
He was
Abhijit.
warned repeatedly by Sardar Patel. There are cabinet notes to this effect to not recognize the new communist government of China till the border was settled. Did he listen? No. He keeps sending Krishna Menon out there, who got made a complete fool of. Whatever line the Chinese used to give him, he used to buy it hook, line and sinker. VK Krishna Menon then used to travel abroad and unnecessarily burn bridges with our enemy, with our friends, with America, with Russia, with everybody, so that they would not come to our help when China attacked. Of course, let's not even bring in his corruption. There was a truck scam in which Nehru refused to get rid of him also.
You are discussing 1962 or discussing China? What Modi is doing right
You
now?
are discussing Adani.
What is the topic?
And what is your great hatred of Adani?
No. See,
That he took away contracts from China.
We
So
are
you are both basically Chinese agents.
with due respect.
Gyanendra.
To the pro-government speakers, we are asking very pertinent questions and we are here to discuss about today's situation. We are not discussing here the 1962 or 1957. We are discussing here as on today. Mr. Ajay Alok asked a question that why the Air Force was not used in 1962. We are asking why the Indian government
How much did China pay you? China's paying your party leader, China's paying you.
As on
Please, Gyanendra. Abhishek.
10 rupees for every statement you make.
on the part of the government that China occupied a sizable strategic territory within the India. It is not
All under your government. Read the Sham Saran report.
Now
It
the
all
Sham
happened
Saran
under your
report.
government.
I'm coming into the debate right now, ladies and gentlemen. On a matter of fact, right now, my clear view is that. Yeah, one sec. Abhijit refers to Sham Saran report, viewers. My last question tonight. Gyanendra, one point. Gyanendra, you're not prepared. You don't know anything. I'm sorry, but you know nothing.
Adani, Ambani, everything except China.
knows everything.
You don't know. You see, the Sham Saran report was published in August 2013, 10 months before Sonia Gandhi lost her job as the effective Prime Minister of India. The Sham Saran report made a chilling revelation. Volume down, let me speak. The Sham Saran report of 2013 made a chilling revelation that India had lost 740 square kilometers due to quote-unquote area denial by the PLA. Right or wrong? Answers?
occupied any territory of India. And now you are telling that
I have quoted a report,
the
sir.
Chinese government.
This is not an Arnab Goswami report. There's a Sham Saran report.
Surgical strike is required on China. Yes, surgical strike is required on China.
It is an admission that the China entered
The party that gifted 1 minute. Viewers, this is the joke of the day. Volume down. 1 minute. You see, this is the joke of the day. Viewers, you must not take the Congress party seriously. Their supporters come and say, we need a surgical strike on China. Obviously, the answer is you cannot have a surgical strike on China. You need to... 1 minute. What is he saying? Akhil, louder, please. Akhil. Only Akhil. I want to hear whatever rubbish he says. Please, repeat your rubbish.
You are asking me?
Of course.
अरे यार पाकिस्तान पे जाके पिद्दी ना पिद्दी का शोरबा उस पे अटैक करते हो, चाइना पे करो, बीजिंग पे। ये रफाइल फैल काहे के लिए खरीदे बैठे हो? करोड़ों रुपए अरबों रुपए हमारे खर्च कर दिए। अरे कर दो एक बार चाइना पे अटैक, हम लोग चलेंगे, लड़ेंगे।
क्या पढ़ाते हैं भाई साहब?
मैं एचआर पढ़ाता हूँ, फाइनेंस पढ़ाता हूँ, मार्केटिंग पढ़ाता हूँ, शेयर मार्केट पढ़ाता हूँ, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप पढ़ाता हूँ, कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस पढ़ाता हूँ और एंटायर पॉलिटिकल साइंस भी पढ़ाता हूँ।
अच्छा, पॉलिटिकल साइंस पढ़ाते, कहाँ पे पढ़ाते हैं?
एंटायर
Where do you teach political science?
Entire political.
Where do you teach? Which Harvard University, Oxford University, where?
अरे यार अंग्रेजों, आप वहां पढ़े होगे विदेश में, आप लोग डॉलर दे के आए हो अमेरिका को, लंदन को, हम लोग
डॉलर पे
हिंदुस्तानी
से स्कॉलरशिप मिली थी और हिंदू कॉलेज के टॉपर हैं।
अरे कहीं के हो यार, मैं IIT BHU का पढ़ा हुआ हूँ, मैं IIT BHU का काशी हिंदू विश्वविद्यालय, हिंदू विश्वविद्यालय।
You are a blot. You are a blot in for those institutions.
Arey, you are even a darkest spot in Indian journalism.
That's all right. You can ask my college that; they will tell you. But you are a blot. You know nothing. A person who comes on television, Abhijit, a person who comes on television have a nuclear strike on China. What do you tell such a person? He's not a serious panelist.
I would tell the person he's in need for serious senile health care. I can recommend some dementia places, which might be good for the gentleman. But this kind of talk is just plain dangerous. That this man even represents the Congress. And he's talking about doing a nuclear strike and what kind of strike on China.
Okay.
You know, this is very serious.
I don't have anything to do with Congress.
Okay, viewers, they all say that. I am a bit horrified, and I will follow this up with a very serious discussion at 9 o'clock on whether we can trust the Chinese. Now, something very worrying has happened in Jamia Millia Islamia today. I am told, and this is what I have heard, and the report will play out, that there were some students celebrating Diwali with a simple Rangoli competition and diya lighting. And they were stopped from doing so by a disruptive group on the Jamia Millia Islamia campus. Where is the secularity? Is there any rule that you cannot celebrate a Hindu festival on the Jamia campus? How far will we accept this? This is what happened.
Diwali festivities turned into a nightmare in Jamia Millia University on Tuesday night. This after clashes broke out during the annual Diwali celebration program conducted by the ABVP, the student wing. Purported videos of students chanting communal slogans inside the campus were seen. Rangoli made to celebrate Diwali was wiped off, and diyas lit up were blown off. Here's what the eyewitnesses to the case saw.
When the people from the outside and this ABVP law come, they make it a big issue and trying to tarnish the Jamia Millia Islamia University. There were slogans and counter slogans. Some people raised, the ABP logo and other Jai Shri Ram and this many slogans. The counter slogans were also there. I am admitted the Allahu Akbar or some slogans were there.
यही दिवाली का सेलिब्रेशन था और ये सब मतलब पहले से सब परमिशन वगैरह ली गई थी, सब अच्छे तरीके से हो रहा था। यहाँ पे बहुत सारी भीड़ लगी, बच्चों के बहुत सारा यहाँ पे नारेबाजी होना शुरू हो गया, जिसमें दो गुट में लोग बट गए थे। एक तरफ फिलिस्तीन जिंदाबाद के नारे लग रहे थे और बाहर के भी कुछ लोग आ गए थे, इस वजह से लोगों में गुस्सा आ गया हो।
20 hours after the incident was reported, students were detained. This is not the first time that clashes due to religious provocation took place in Jamia Millia Islamia University. Were attacks on religious events orchestrated?
Okay, we have two views. Ajay Alok continues. Tariq Ahmed Lari of the Samajwadi Party. My first question is to Professor Ganga Sahai Meena, who's a professor at JNU and an author and activist. This is completely shocking. Professor Meena, tomorrow will they also stop Hindu students from being enrolled at Jamia? And this is not any dangerous environment, unfriendly activity. Rangoli and Diya, right? They are not communal. Right? Diwali is not communal.
Arnab ji.
How has this been allowed? And this is not the first time this has happened. You see, Jamia Millia Islamia is in Delhi, which is in India, right? And India is over 80% Hindu. Hinduism and Hindu festivals cannot be banned on any part of the Indian territory. That's what these people have tried to do.
Arnab ji, when some social exclusion thing happen in some places of the country and some student group protest against that, then you and other people say that these campuses are for academics, not for these politics. But when people do religious things, then I think you are trying to support that those acts.
1 minute. Celebrating Diwali.
I believe that
1 minute. Celebrating Diwali. Celebrating Diwali is not political activity. I think.
No, it is religious activity. It is not academic activity.
Okay. And saying
I am against
religious activity will be banned. You are saying basically you can't celebrate Diwali on Jamia campus. So will you say it is only Jamia campus? I studied at Hindu college. Maybe you don't even like the name. Hindu college. I'm proud I am from Hindu college.
I like Hindu name and I like the Hindu college.
Then you must understand, you can't do this. You see, don't try and justify this. When people carry out acts of violence,
no, I am
you
not
must be against it.
I am saying the campuses are not for religious activities, whether it is namaz or it is a prayer. It is for only academics. Do you agree with this?
I completely disagree. I am not one of those believers who say that you should be embarrassed about your religion. I am a proud Hindu.
You may be, but at your home.
You may not. No. I am a proud Hindu everywhere. You may be ashamed. Are you a Hindu? Are you a Hindu? Are you a Hindu?
If you are staying in a hostel,
are you a Hindu?
That is my personal thing.
Why are you embarrassed about it? Why?
Our religious beliefs are our personal thing, not to show someone.
Okay, then you should not have any religious celebrations. You should not have any processions on the road during Muharram also. Then would you agree that there should not be any processions on the road during Muharram? Would you say there should be no processions on the road during Muharram? Answer my question, don't run away. See, do you say that there should not be any processions on the road during Muharram? That's a public space. Why violate a public space?
But campuses are for studies. Public places you
and
can
streets
celebrate
are for
anything.
what? Streets are for what?
No, streets are for celebrations.
Oh, so
yes, you can celebrate any religion.
So, according to your logic,
I believe that religious things should be personal and at home.
Viewers,
only,
what you are watching tonight is a live.
Or in the mosque,
what you are watching,
not in the campuses.
Okay, we'll hear Firoz Bakht Ahmad's response to that. Firoz Bakht Ahmad, this terrible incident has happened where Hindu students, simply lighting diyas, have been attacked inside the Jamia campus. The sense is being given that you're not welcome. If you're not a Muslim, you are not welcome on the Jamia campus. If you're not a Muslim, you have no right to be on the Jamia campus. The feeling these students, I'm not saying this is the view of the Jamia management, but the feeling of these students is Jamia is only for Muslims. In that case, the question should be asked. In response, there were very, very communal slogans by the Muslim students as well. Should those slogans be banned? Should people who justify Mannan Wani be banned? Why was Mannan Wani celebrated, Burhan Wani celebrated on the Aligarh Muslim University campus? Why are posters of Jinnah put up on the AMU campus? What kind of activity is that? Bharat Tere Tukde Honge, followed by Inshallah, Inshallah. Was that a secular slogan? No answers to that. Because you see, he is in JNU. The professor in JNU is to continue to be in JNU. Can he say tonight that saying Bharat Tere Tukde Honge, Inshallah, Inshallah was also wrong? Why was Inshallah, Inshallah said?
Definitely wrong. I will say definitely wrong.
Yeah, definitely wrong. What Kanhaiya Kumar did was wrong. What Umar Khalid did was wrong.
No, court will decide.
Court now again escape route. Court will decide. Firoz Bakht Ahmad.
And court will decide.
Jamia is a part of India. India is a 80% plus Hindu country. We are a secular country. You can't ban diyas. दियो पे बैन, रंगोली पे बैन, कोई रंगोली लगाए तो उन पे आक्रमण. ये किस तरह की सेक्युलरिज्म है इस देश में? हर चीज की सीमा रेखा होती है. Firoz Bakht Ahmad is responding. Tariq, I'll come to you right after that. And then justify saying Jai Palestine. You fight diyas by saying Jai Palestine. You damage diyas, you trample on rangolis, you justify similar attacks on minority students at Jamia taking place for years. You see, the mood in the country has changed. Firoz Bakht Ahmed is responding. Firoz.
Yes, thank you so much, Arnab, to have me after a long time in your program. You see, I would begin with this lovely couplet. भारत पे मेरे रहमत परवरदिगार है, भारत पे मेरे रहमत परवरदिगार है, कृपा प्रभु राम की कान्हा का प्यार है. This is what are, sugar and we gel like sugar and milk, right? And Diwali is a lovely, it's a wonderful celebration. We call it Jashn-e-Chiraga, and whatever happened at the gate number 7 of Jamia, the way, those three, all those things belonging to Diwali and all wonderful, work by the kids, it was trampled upon. I think this is one of the saddest things which I have seen at this university. It should not have happened that way. Apart from that, so far as festivals are concerned, whether it is Diwali, Jashn-e-Chiraga, whether it is Holi, that is known as Eid-e-Gulabi, whether it is Eid, Bakr-Eid, whatever the festival.
So what is the message they are trying to send? That's all right. What is the message they are trying to send? What is the message? What is the message that they are trying to send? Why has no case been registered? Why was heavy security deployed? Why did fresh clashes break out in the afternoon? Is this the way people celebrating Diwali will start getting treated? Will we be told tomorrow, Tariq Lari, that you cannot celebrate Diwali near some so-called minority areas? The kind of language that is used. And will it be told tomorrow that to celebrate Diwali in so-called minority areas is an act of provocation?
Certainly not.
Yes, Tariq.
जो पहले मेरे साथ बैठे हुए हैं, जो JNU का है, मैं इनका नाम नहीं जानता, आई एम सॉरी, आई डोंट नो योर नेम, मैं इनकी बात से बिल्कुल ना इत्तेफाक करता हूं, इनकी बात को कंडेम करता हूं, और जो वहां पे हुआ है जामिया मिलिया में उसकी घंघोर निंदा करता हूं. ये देश, समाजवादी पार्टी इस देश के हर कानून का, हर धर्म का, हर चीज का, हर किसी के कल्चर का इज्जत करती है और चाहती है जो जैसे अपने धर्म को फॉलो करना चाहे वैसे करे. इस्लाम भी कहता है लकुम दीनुकुम वलियद्दीन, मतलब मेरा धर्म मेरे साथ, आपका धर्म आपके साथ. आप अपना प्रैक्टिस करिए, हम अपना प्रैक्टिस करें. ये जो हुआ है, ये बाहर के लोगों ने, अभी मैं देख रहा था एक बिटिया बोल रही थी कि बाहर के लोगों ने आकर यहाँ पे तमाशा किया है. तो वो बाहर के लोग हो सकता है बीजेपी के भेजे हुए हों, क्योंकि यहाँ तो आप देखिए अभी यहाँ बहराइच में बीजेपी के विधायक ने FIR कराई है दंगा करने की, कि हमारे ही साथी, उन्हीं के साथी जो है दंगा कर रहे हैं. बीजेपी के यूथ जो है बाकायदा अध्यक्ष है वो दंगा कर रहे हैं, दंगे की शुरुआत कर रहे हैं, पुलिस उनका साथ दे रही है, सब कुछ देखा गया है. तो इट्स पॉसिबल कि ये थोड़ा इलेक्शन का माहौल है, तो उस माहौल को गंदा करने के लिए और हिंदू वोट की तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति के लिए बीजेपी ये गंदा काम कर सकती है. कोई भी मैं बता रहा हूं, मैं थ्रू से कॉन्वेंट एजुकेटेड हूं, मेरे भी बहनें भी हैं. हम लोगों ने स्कूल की बात कर रहा हूं,
मैं आपकी व्यक्तिगत बात नहीं कर रहा, मैं जामिया मिलिया इस्लामिया पे केंद्रित होना चाहता हूं. आई वांट टू रिमेन फोकस्ड ऑन जामिया. आई वांट टू बी फोकस्ड ऑन जामिया. देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम इन जामिया, वी विल हैव टू डील विद.
दिवाली भी बनाई है सर.
नो सर, आई एम नॉट आस्किंग अबाउट योर पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंसेस. हाँ, मैं आपकी पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में नहीं बोल रहा. I am raising a point here specifically about a campus. Sir, there is a campus in Delhi called Jamia Millia Islamia.
यहाँ जो हुआ है ये बीजेपी की देन है. बीजेपी का ये गुंडे होंगे, मवाली होंगे. बीजेपी से पैसा लेकर, जैसे कई मौलाना बैठते हैं हिंदू मुस्लिम करने के लिए डिबेट्स में, वो सब बैठते हैं, वो आते हैं 5,000 10,000 रुपए पेमेंट लेते हैं पर डिबेट का, वो बैठते हैं, वो हिंदू मुस्लिम करते हैं बीजेपी RSS के कहने पर. तो ये वैसे ही पेमेंट किए वो गुंडे होंगे जो आए होंगे. मुसलमान का नाम हो सकता है मुसलमान ही हो, अपना पैसा लेकर आए, अपना तमाम तमाशा किया और चले गए.
Okay.
आप क्या कर सकते हैं?
Now, one minute. Tariq Lari, follow-up question to you. आपने जो बात कही है ना, बहुत बड़ी बात आपने कही. Show me, you can maybe show one piece of evidence to back what you have said. Show one piece of evidence to back what you have said. Otherwise, I will accuse you of supporting the people who have carried out these attacks. या तो आप अभी इसी वक्त live on television, he has said, we all heard him, Firoz, he can't go back now. He's on record. He said that the BJP has paid money to some Muslims to attack Hindus celebrating Diwali inside the Jamia campus. On live television, he must, Firoz, show the proof. He must show them, otherwise he should be accused of trying to incite communal violence. No, proof! Show the proof! Show the proof! Sabut! Sabut! Show the sabut!
ठीक है, समाजवादी पार्टी को आप रेफरेंस करके समाजवादी पार्टी को आप नुकसान पहुंचा रहे हैं। आप जैसे मुसलमान बजाय इसके कि समाजवादी पार्टी को सपोर्ट करें, ये इस तरह की बात मत करें कि मौलवी मौलाना पैसा लेके बैठ जाते हैं 5,000 7,000, ये काम आप करते होंगे। ठीक है, shame on you. Don't use this incendiary language against Maulana. They are respectable people, चाहे वो कुछ भी बोले कहीं के भी हों। ठीक है, आपको पता नहीं, आप इस तरह के इल्जाम तराशी करते हैं और बिल्कुल सही कहा अर्नब गोस्वामी ने, इसका प्रूफ दीजिए वरना देयर विल बी डेफिनेशन अगेंस्ट यू। ठीक है, ये जो मौलाना हजरात के खिलाफ आपने इल्जाम लगाया है, पैसे लेके बैठते हैं, बीजेपी को सपोर्ट करते हैं, ये इन अल्फाज को वापस लीजिए, इस तरह की जबान न बोला करिए। देखिए ये
अपने ऊपर से दंगे का मुकदमा 307 का मुकदमा हटाया कि नहीं हटाया? मुख्यमंत्री होकर मुकदमा हटाया कि नहीं हटाया? एमपी होकर वो अपने क्षेत्र में दंगा किया कि नहीं किया? अरे दंगा करने वाले हैं, अपने ही विधायक ने निंदा कर दिया दंगे करने वालों को। खुद बीजेपी ने अपने ही विधायक
In Delhi, there is a campus, Jamia Millia Islamia, and there has been an attack on students celebrating Diwali, pre-Diwali, with simple diya lighting and rangolis. It's a brutal attack. It's a violent attack. A professor from JNU is trying to justify the attack. Professor Ganga Sahai Meena is justifying the act of violence.
I'm accusing them.
And Tariq Lari says the BJP paid money to some Muslims to carry out the attack. Both are outrageous comments.
This is all pugnacious and this is something which is harming the Muslim community.
Ajay Alok, would you like to respond to the allegations? You're surprisingly quiet given the gravity of the allegations being thrown and hurled on the program by the Samajwadi Party leader.
First of all, Samajwadi Party leader does not know anything. Okay, listen now. अब सुनिए जरा लारी भाई साहब सुनिए. Let's come to JNU professor. Let's come to the JNU professor first, where he said that nothing religious should be done in the campus. So for his information,
I don't agree with him.
And further, when you come to TV, please be prepared. Within the Jamia University, there is a mosque which is called as Central Mosque, Jamia Masjid. So there is a mosque and namaz is being offered every day.
Why is that okay?
Why you were saying that nothing should be done within the campus?
Saying campuses are not
okay.
Religious.
Number one, so you don't know about that. Number two. You said somebody when get excluded. Somebody when get excluded, then they start raising their chants. Who is excluded? That's a complete Muslim university with no reservation for SC and ST, and you are saying Muslims are getting excluded in Jamia Millia. Number three, Mr. Professor, please listen to me. This festival permission was taken by the authorities itself. Jamia celebrates every year its annual festival and also known as Talim, which runs for 8 days. This is completely orchestrated, organized on the lines of Bahraich. People want to create disturbance in the society. And we all know who are these. Ab Lari Sahab nahi bolenge is pe. This was organized completely. It was under the information after taking the permission from university authorities कि वहाँ पे दिवाली पूजा मनाई जा रही थी. ये जानबूझ के किया गया प्रोवोकेट करने के लिए. What the hell students are supposed to do? Jai Philistine there? What the students were saying? Jai Philistine, Narae Takbir, Allahu Akbar. What for? If you can't be a party to the festival, you cannot destroy it. Nobody gives you a right for that.
No, should you are a professor at JNU? My last question to you, Professor Ganga Sahai Meena, is: are you therefore saying that namaz should not be allowed inside the JNU campus, where you teach? No, don't answer my question. Should namaz not be allowed inside the JNU campus where you teach?
I would say...
No, I would say nay, you say.
He already said that.
Yes,
I would say nay. Should namaz not be allowed inside the JNU campus?
Yes, I am saying no religious act should be there in the campuses.
No, namaz. Should namaz not be allowed?
For researches. Yes,
He will not answer
everything,
that question.
every religion. If we allow one, then we have to allow another one.
You are a
Then
learned man. I
we
respect
cannot
you for
stop
your
them
years
by
of experience and for your
making
professorship.
groups and making hate speeches.
दो
We
लाइनें
will
मैं
not
आपके लिए कह के
able
इजाजत
to
दूंगा।
stop them.
मुझको सुकून मिलता है
That's
मेरी
why
अजान
no
से।
religious act should be there in the
मुझको सुकून
campuses.
मिलता है मेरी अजान से। भारत सुरक्षित है गीता के ज्ञान से। ये बता रहा हूं मैं आपको। हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई they have gelled like sugar and milk since eons, since centuries. आप जैसे लोग, लारी साहब जैसे लोग, इन्होंने हमारे बीच में डिफरेंसेस पैदा कर दिए। प्लीज, इंडिया इज अ ग्रेट कंट्री, लेट इट बी अ ग्रेट नेशन।
मैं नहीं हूं, मैं हमारी पार्टी हर धर्म को मानती है और उसके हर धर्म के त्योहार का सेलिब्रेशन मानती है।
Why don't you go to SFI? एक मिनट। आप नहीं, प्रोफेसर गंगा साहेब मीना, I have a suggestion for you.
मैं जानता भी नहीं हूं।
I have a suggestion for you.
जो भी बोल रहा है अपनी मर्जी से बोल रहा है।
आप first of all you go to the students union go to the communist students union and tell them that since you are atheist होना चाहिए ना इनको, है ना, एथिस्ट है ना, कम्युनिस्ट है तो एथिस्ट है, उनको बोलिए कि आप क्यों ये रेजोल्यूशन नहीं करते that there should be no religious activity। आप किस तरह की नहीं 1 मिनट, मैं मेरी बात सुनिए। देखिए प्रोफेसर गंगा साहेब मीना, आप विच प्लैनेट यू आर इन आई डोंट नो, है ना। मैं इस दुनिया में हूं, मैं भारत का नागरिक हूं, है ना, और हिंदू हूं, और हिंदू कॉलेज में पढ़ता था तो पूजा पाठ भी करता था। अब आप कहेंगे बस सबको नास्तिक होना चाहिए, तो ऐसा तो चलने वाला नहीं है। यू प्लीज रियलाइज ये भारत है ना, और भारत में भारत की संस्कृति के खिलाफ इस तरह का बड़ा षड्यंत्र कभी नहीं हो सकता, अलाउ नहीं करेंगे हम। और आपको जो सवाल पूछा, आपके डिस्कम्फर्ट को देखते हुए, आपके डिस्कम्फर्ट को देखा मैंने, आप पूछिए वहां पे ऐसे को बोलिए कि वहां पे नमाज क्या बॉयकॉट या बैन हो सकती है जेएनयू के कैंपस में? कतई नहीं।
कि मैं उनको कितनी बार बात बोल चुका हूं।
नहीं, जेएनयू में नमाज नहीं बैन हो सकती है, और जामिया के कैंपस में दिवाली बंद नहीं हो सकती, ना दिवाली ना होली। दिवाली भी होगी, होली भी होगी।
अमेरिका के बर्बाद करने में आप जैसा लेकर अमेरिका के बच्चों को बर्बाद कर लिया आपने।
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a hot debate when I'm back. Can you trust the Chinese? Can you really trust the Chinese? That's a big debate. I have my doubts, but I also have my agenda of what we should seek from the Chinese, what we should get from them when I'm back.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
Director, the taste of success.
2 cappuccinos to go.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
लोकल करेंसीज में व्यापार
और सुगम रूप से क्रॉस बॉर्डर पेमेंट से हमारा आर्थिक सहयोग सुदृढ़ होगा। भारत द्वारा बनाया गया यूनिफाइड पेमेंट्स इंटरफेस यानी यूपीआई भारत की एक बहुत बड़ी सक्सेस स्टोरी है।
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
See the power of God. Touch. Say thank you, Jesus. Say thank you, Jesus. Say thank you, Jesus.
One more thing that membership to JNU was given on honorary basis because she is an international player, plays for India.
Yes. So as far as her membership is concerned, absolutely, she is the pride of the country. We wish her well. We wish she brings more accolades to the country. There is no issue about that. The membership was given to her, being a Bandra girl, to come and use the facilities.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate. Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
And now time for the nation's sharpest opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of hours ago, India and China held their first ever bilateral meeting in over 5 years. And while many are tonight either skeptical or rejoicing by the fact that the talks have begun, I, for one, am a total realist and a pragmatist vis-a-vis China, which is why I believe that while it is a good thing that India and China are finally talking, we must also never forget that there is a lot of work to be done to restore the balance. Of course, to those who have minutely studied the statements crafted today will understand that India has not taken the bait this time. India has made it amply clear that until and unless there is strict adherence to the disengagement along the LAC, no normalization talks can proceed. This was also reflected in the statement of the Indian Army's chief yesterday. But the most important takeaway for the Chinese side from this bilateral meeting has to be the fact that this is not the same country they are dealing with, whom they had met in Mamalapura in 2019. This is a country whose Prime Minister is in his third term and who has seen through over a decade of first-class diplomacy, from free trade agreements to surgical strikes to regional coalitions, and not just leading but winning over support from all sides in a multipolar world. which is why it is in the best interest of China to go back to the pre-Galwan situation in India for its own sake. Because in a matter of just 3 to 4 years, India will become the third largest economy in the world, and it is just going to be just behind China and the US. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, I believe that at this time it is important for the Chinese to look at what they need to know. Now that we have gone more than half the distance, what do the Chinese need to do? First, the Chinese need to close the trade gap. They need to make serious efforts towards it. Secondly, the Chinese need to stop encouraging terrorism through Pakistan, which is their strategic asset, but they need to know that it is not something that India is going to take lightly. We have already said very clearly to the Pakistanis that talks and terror cannot go hand in hand, which is why if China wants friendship with India and, as the Prime Minister said, have a mature relationship with India, it must stop encouraging the Pakistanis to carry out terror attacks on our soil. Thirdly, they must stop taking a stand at international forums, which is not just anti-India, but which is pro-terrorism, like doing everything possible to protect Masood Azhar. These are pinpricks in the relationship that the Chinese should be very, very conscious that if they want to have a better relationship with India, which is in Asia's interest, which is in global interest, then they need to stop doing those kind of things. Thirdly, the Chinese need to come to terms with India's growth. I think that is the fundamental flaw in the way the Chinese look at India. They must realize that just as they grew at a massive, massive pace in the early 2000s until a few years back, similarly, India's growth, which is pegged at 7-8%, is going to take India to being a 10 trillion economy, 20 trillion economy, 30 trillion economy, and maybe a 40 trillion economy plus by 2047. These are realities, and the Chinese must come to terms with it. Having a hostile relationship with India at this stage will only damage China's interests in the medium to long term. That is why I'd like to begin by saying once again that the Chinese need to be very mature, not aggressive, and realize that we've gone more than half the distance. It is their turn now to respond.
Since 2020, Sino-Indian relations had hit an all-time low after the Galwan Valley clashes. After much speculation, the Ministry of External Affairs confirmed this week that the Modi-Xi bilateral was indeed on the cards during the sidelines of the BRICS summit. This came after both the sides made significant breakthrough on the standoff and disengagement at the line of actual control.
There will be a bilateral meeting held between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping tomorrow, 23rd of October, on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. The exact time and other logistics are being worked out, but the meeting will take place tomorrow.
And after the disengagement talks, significant strides were also made in terms of patrolling of troops along the line of actual control. Both Xi and Modi kicked off the most awaited bilateral with strong statements.
सीमा पर शांति और स्थिरता बनाए रखना हमारी प्राथमिकता रहनी चाहिए। म्यूचुअल ट्रस्ट, म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट और म्यूचुअल सेंसिटिविटी हमारे संबंधों का आधार बने रहना चाहिए।
China and India are both ancient civilizations, major developing countries, and important members of the global South. We are both at a crucial phase in our respective modernization endeavors. For both sides to keep to the trend of history and the right direction of our bilateral relations, it's important for both sides to have more communication and cooperation.
Notably, this bilateral meeting was the first in 5 long years. The Foreign Secretary shared more details from the meeting in his post-summit presser.
The two leaders noted that the special representatives on the India-China boundary question have a critical role to play in the resolution of the boundary question and for the maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas.
In a big breakthrough, both the sides have relaunched the special representatives' boundary talks, which were stalled after the Galwan Valley clash. As India makes cautious and calculated strides in furthering bilateral ties, will China respond by addressing the trust deficit and becoming more predictable in its conduct?
From Beijing this evening, we have with us Einar Tangen, well-known commentator from Beijing. Zhu Qindo is a senior political analyst and journalist and a senior fellow at the Pangoal Institution from Beijing. Thank you very much, Mr. Qindo. And Savio Rodriguez,
thank you.
Founder and editor-in-chief of Goa Chronicle, and General G.D. Bakshi, well-known defense expert from India, are with us this evening. Let me start with you, Einar. How do you view today's meeting? I do not think personally it is only symbolic. I think both sides must have given deep thought before the meeting happens at a Narendra Modi, Xi Jinping level. So what is the significance of the fact that they have met strategically?
Well, strategically, it's just showing that there's a thaw in the relationship, obviously, and that they want to get on with things. I mean, there have been a number of geopolitical things that have happened. I think Modi felt very strongly that the U.S. had interfered in his election. He announced that he was going to go see Putin. There was the optics of the hug with Putin. He also said that he was going to instruct Jaishankar to make progress on the border issue. After that, you had a situation where all of a sudden everyone's saying that India is the #2 provider of sensitive equipment to Russia, and then you had Bangladesh, where there's some suspicion that the U.S. was involved. I think this has caused not a pivot, but it is a warning to Washington that Narendra Modi is no Bong Bong Marcos, and India is not the Philippines, and that they will go their own way. So at this point, it's very positive for the India-China side. I don't think Washington's very happy.
At the same time, my view is, Einar, that, I don't disagree with all of the points that you have made, maybe some to degrees of extent. I also believe that it is much in China's interest, in terms of timing, to help build the thaw, given the Chinese direction of the Chinese economy and China's own geostrategic and military interests. And I'd like to invite General G.D. Bakshi to give his take on how he views this meeting and what are the Chinese imperatives behind this meeting. Why would the Chinese want to have this meeting and a thaw in the first place, General Bakshi?
Absolutely, Arnab. The simple fact is that strategically, China has always gone by the principle of one strategic direction. Currently, their strategic direction is focused towards Taiwan, towards the South China Sea, and it does not suit them to have problems on their western flank when they are so heavily engaged with the Taiwanese, with the Americans, with the Japanese, Koreans, Filipinos, on the Taiwan issue, on the South China Sea issue. There are also the aspects of the Chinese economy. And to that extent, the need for a thaw, I think, is fairly mutual. For once, I agree with my Chinese interlocutors that yes, there is an aspect of the very undue hostility that the United States of America has been displaying towards India of late. The coup in Bangladesh, the quest for a base in the Bay of Bengal in the Martins Island. Also, the support to Khalistan via the Five Eyes, via Canada. Khalistani terrorists. This is hardly a friendly act. And then, of course, we had the stab in the back with the jet engines. So I think it is about time that India is a power which is autonomous, which values its autonomy, its autarky, and it has also given a clear message in this quest for a thaw. We would like to see how it goes, we would like to see trust develop, but the simple fact is that this is a signal to the rest of the world that India doesn't like to be pushed. We don't like being pushed by anyone, for that matter.
And you know, today's meeting is historic, in my view. Consider the significance of this meeting. The meeting is between the world's most populous nation and the leader of the world's second most populous nation. The meeting is between the world's largest democracy and soon to be third largest economy and the world's second largest economy. The meeting is between the two most powerful countries of Asia. So I don't think it can go unnoticed. However, Mr. Quindo, we in India here believe that there are certain steps the Chinese must take. First, we believe that when two such large countries have so much at stake for our people, our economies, and our future, then we must stop letting small countries like Pakistan, which are known supporters of terrorism, become pawns in the process. I truly believe that China must not support terrorist groups or terrorists based in Pakistan and has enough leverage over Pakistan today to make the Pakistanis stop doing so. But will that happen, Mr. Quindo? Because if it happens, it can contribute a great deal towards bringing our two countries together.
Thank you for having me. First of all, let me share my thoughts on this very important meeting between two leaders. I think it is in India's interest as much as in Chinese interest. Remember, in my own thing, I would say India is one of the very few truly independent nations. Every move it makes in terms of foreign policy making, it is in line with Indian interests, national interests of Indian people. And so are the Chinese, I think, as evidence in this case. And secondly, you mentioned about the terrorism. I agree with you to a certain degree. For example, the recent example is the Chinese workers actually were also injured and killed in the terror incident, terror attack inside Pakistan. So I think the terrorism, obviously, the three countries need to talk to each other to find a way to deal with those terrorists, wherever they are from. And we need to, obviously, somewhere, they get their resources, either financially, and also arms, ammunitions. So that's a problem, I think, posed to India, posed to China, posed to Pakistan. And as to for the three countries' relationship, China is fully ready, fully welcome, like if there's any thought of relationship between Pakistan and India. If there's a peace and tranquility in the entire South Asia, that would be the greatest news for Shanghai Cooperation Organization, for the BRICS group, because both India and Pakistan are part of the two groups. So that's also one of the best stories for the developing world, because without we solving this problem, and there's a solidarity problem, that would be a damage to this multipolar system.
Yeah, but Mr. Quindo, I hope you appreciate the fact that India and Pakistan are not at the same level, besides which Pakistan's history and record of being a terror supporter, a country which gave refuge to Osama bin Laden, and where hundreds of terrorist groups are operating as a quasi-government, put it in a very different situation. And therefore, it is not possible for India to talk to Pakistan on issues of terrorism. I was only referring and alluding to the fact that China should not be standing in the way of supporting hijackers like Masood Azhar and saying that we'll stand with Pakistan at the UN Security Council to stop naming him as a designated terrorist. Though I believe these are smaller issues, these are significant issues. I would now like to bring the attention to another issue, which is our continuing trade imbalance. And I'd like Savio to comment on that. Everything does boil down to the economy, and this trade imbalance and some trade barriers that the Chinese put, very, very protectionist measures, if those are lifted, then perhaps, this process of normalization would speed up if these non-tariff barriers in the Chinese market could go, if the huge trade deficit of almost $85 billion could be reduced, if not eliminated. Savio, would you like to comment on that?
Arnab, I think the most important aspect of what has happened today are two of the world's most promising leaders actually coming together to resolve their concerns and move ahead in a unified fashion. And we're not talking just about two leaders. We are talking about two ancient civilizations coming from Asia, having concerns that they had over a period of time and finding a way to resolve these concerns. For a very long time, most of the geopolitics controlled around the world has been controlled by countries out of the West. But it is now time that you're seeing Asian countries, countries like India and China, that are dominating the kind of political movement that is happening globally. And that is required because for centuries the world has been dominated by Western philosophies and ideologies and political lingo. It is time the world opens its eyes to Eastern philosophies, Eastern's ways of doing it. And that is why, in my humble opinion, I think India and China, irrespective of the differences that need to be ironed out, is setting a stage for the rise of the Eastern philosophies, and slowly the Western idea of the world is going to be diluted as these two nations grow stronger. Having said that, the most important thing in any relationship is trust. And trust is the most important thing India and China have to build together. And trust starts with different parameters. The first parameter being security, which is the issue of terrorism that you rightly highlighted. China needs to stop supporting Pakistan or any of their affiliates working with terrorism. The second is the trade. It is important for China to understand that in order for this relationship to strengthen, the trade deficit itself needs to come down. And India and China must be working compatibly together to deal with the Western onslaught that is happening in all the other countries that India and China want to get a foothold in. So trust is going to take time. What is important is for India and China to realize that they are ancient civilizations which had a philosophy that worked much before the Western philosophies came in. And it's time for the world to wake up to the synergies that Eastern philosophy can bring in geopolitics.
Einar, is China comfortable with India's rise? China had a head start. The Chinese economy has now significantly slowed down, closer to 7%. India is growing at a pace which China was, say, 15 to 20 years back. So there's been a bit of a role reversal. If this continuous rate of growth of the Indian economy continues, then we will go significantly. We could double and quadruple in short periods of time. Einar, my question to you is more basic. You see, today, as opposed to, say, 2014, Indian government and Indian companies will compete with Chinese government and Chinese companies in areas like Africa, where you see China had a head start. Secondly, like you were buying, Chinese were making big real estate investments in the United Kingdom. The biggest investments in the United Kingdom today, are also from Indian companies. We are buying up British companies, growing a big presence. And I'm saying that this is not just in South Africa or parts of Europe or in Britain, it's also going to be in South Asia. So at a fundamental level, isn't it a fact that the Chinese will have to accept that India is here to stay? We'll be a $10 trillion economy before you know it. And nothing can come in the way of that. And instead of, if we work together, this could be a very formidable combination globally. But if we don't, then our mutual competitors could turn this competition into conflict. Competition should not become conflict, Einar, should it?
Well, Arnab, it's curious that you think that China doesn't want India to rise. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Xi Jinping said in 2013, after coming in, he's the president, not the prime minister. He said that the future of the Asian century is going to depend much on China and India being able to work together and to be prosperous. I mean, China is well aware of what the ravages of colonialism did. I mean, India, or what was India today, was 24% of the world's GDP. Before the British came, after they left, it was 4%. Everyone is aware of this. China wants India to succeed.
Then will it support India for a UN Security Council seat? In 1950, sorry to interrupt, but in 1950, India supported China for a UN Security Council seat. Today in 2024, if the Chinese have come to terms with India's place in the world, shouldn't China openly support India for a UN Security Council seat?
Arnab, you like to put things in terms of transactional terms.
Well, everything is transactional, isn't it? I mean, isn't this a legitimate point? Why would, one second. All this talk about leaders of the global south and all is perfectly all right. But we can't be protectionist about a UN Security Council seat. Why would China not support India for a UNSC seat? What would come in the way?
Okay, and why would India join AUKUS, which is aimed at China? These are independent countries. I'm an American.
You meant Quad, I think. You meant Quad, not AUKUS.
A Quad, yes.
Yes.
But the issue is why do that? It's because it's in India's interest to do this. In terms of the UN Security Council, I don't know what the calculus is there on that. But if somebody who is not friendly towards you, who you do not have a good relationship, says, "I want a larger position of power," what would you say to them?
Why would you feel we're not being friendly if we were? We are being incredibly friendly.
Easy.
We are being incredibly friendly.
Oh, are you?
Yes, and very competitive.
I mean, you're already, the relationship has just started, and you're trying to build trust, and you're already insisting, like a market vendor, that you should get some sort of plus for this.
No, Einar, I think Einar,
this is not a business deal. This is about two civilizations.
Yes, it is about civilizations. It was only a question, and I think I wouldn't use such strong words.
It's a question, but it sounds more like a demand.
But you should
just
not.
Like you saying that the trade deficit would go down, but the trade deficit won't go down.
Einar, I'll tell you one thing.
Frankly,
I'll tell you one thing. See, the thing is,
do you want to talk or do you want me?
No,
to talk?
I want, because you can't
understand.
get away with the comment which you just made. I was making a very polite comment to you. It got so much under your skin that you started saying you're talking like a market vendor.
Look, Arnab, your job is to try to get under people's skins.
No, it's not my job. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
That's what television is about.
No, it's not.
So,
no, it's not. It's not.
Let's talk about the trade surplus.
I'm just a very involved anchor, and therefore my question to you is: see, if we all accept where we are, things will be so much better. Like, we keep emphasizing the fact that, like China is building its border infrastructure, India also will, and it is not aimed at you. The point is, we did not build our border infrastructure in the past, and it's not aimed at the Chinese. It's just aimed at making India a stronger
both
nation.
sides have a trust deficit. You brought this out. And because they have a trust deficit, both sides have been, in essence, building up along their different borders. If India builds a road, the Chinese build a road. If the Chinese build a road, the Indians build a road. I mean, this is the kind of tit for tat that's there.
Yeah.
But I just want to address this trade deficit issue.
Can I make a small comment responding to that? Just to what your last point was? You said if India builds a road, China builds a road, China builds a road, India builds a road. Today, yes, but not 20 years back. Now, we have built, and I'm significantly telling you, almost 5,000 kilometers of border roads in 6 years. We have not done that in the past, and I think where the Chinese will do good is to appreciate that we will continue to do so. and it's not aimed at you.
That is your rights, as
Yes.
long as it's on your areas that aren't disputed. If you put it in areas that are disputed, or it looks like you're trying to get some sort of military advantage, of course the other side is going to respond. I don't know why that would be surprising.
Well, then
to
in
you.
that case, may I ask you another question, please, Ainar? Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is disputed, but the CPEC runs through it. Why does it run through disputed territory?
Well, it certainly wasn't because it was disputed
I got you
territory.
on
It
that
ran
one.
through there because that
I
was
got
the
you on
best
that one.
and most efficient route to go through.
I got you on
But,
that
you know,
one.
What do you mean you got me on that?
I got you because it's a relevant point I made.
It's childish. You're absolutely childish.
No, I'm asking you.
The issue here is, why did it go through? And that's because geographically it's the best route. How is that gotcha?
No, but it's a disputed territory.
So what? There are many disputed territories. You know, the Indian side has been putting roads on areas that are disputed as well.
I take so there is going to be
kind of nonsense about
there's going to be a difference of opinion. That's clear to me. But I think at the same time, despite the difference of opinion, General Bakshi, I would not take away at all the global significance of today's meeting. I would still continue to emphasize on the global significance of today's meeting. And I truly believe, General Bakshi, that India and China coming together pragmatically, ending the thaw, is actually a really, really good move. And even people like Ainar and me obviously disagree on many fundamentals, will agree on that one. And so will you, General Bakshi. It's a big step forward. The world has to move towards multipolarity, and that can't happen if India and China don't do business together. General Bakshi.
Absolutely, Arnab, you are spot on. The significance of today's event, outreach of India and China, two great ancient civilizations of Asia to one another, is a unique one-off event. You know, it doesn't happen every day. It is the beginning of a thaw. I would say very tentative
beginning of
steps,
a thaw, well phrased.
but the beginning of a thaw.
Yeah.
And if we go down the trust road, and what I would like to tell our Chinese interlocutors is that it helps in trying to thaw relation. It helps to face reality squarely. One of the things that pinches India, and it is best that you know, has been your unequivocal support to Pakistan. The Pakistan army has always been a poodle of the American military, of the American Pentagon. They have just, joined the CIA in overthrowing a legitimately elected government in Bangladesh. I think we would also like to caution you that this, one of the greatest irritants in India-China relationships has been the Chinese tendency to support Pakistan and its terrorist enterprises, right? But when we begin the beginnings of a thaw, I think we should confront these things head on. And that is what will get us to a pragmatic kind of a reconciliation, and not that one that buries things under the carpet.
I think it's also an opportunity, I would say.
Chinese interlocutor.
Yeah, it's an opportunity, Mr. Quindo. I want to go back to you. It's also an opportunity for Chinese diplomacy to stand out as different from the Americans. You know, the Americans have always had this diplomacy, you're with us or you're against us kind of approach, you know, which doesn't make sense to us. The Chinese needn't have that perspective, which is why when Ainar asked, you know, you're with the Quad, which is against us, I mean, that argument goes against the principle of multipolarity. To expect the world's most populous nation not to work with all would not be pragmatic. Just as we would not expect you not to work with the Chinese on, with the Americans on economic issues. So maybe a new realism, perhaps, is that possible, you think, as an analyst?
Well, I think, both countries have always demonstrated to a certain degree, obviously, of pragmatism. You know, without such a practical approach, I don't think there will be the point we are reaching, that is the thaw of our relationship. Remember, this is very important so that both countries can put aside the disputes and focus on their own economic development and also explore the opportunities of working together economically. This is also important strategically, I think, from the global perspective.
Absolutely.
Remember, Washington has been trying to use India against China, through Pact or whatever framework there. But now I think India showed that it is an independent country. It will do everything that's in line with its national interests.
Yes.
Can I also want to, address this issue you mentioned about the trade deficit? I think that, India is not alone in somehow having a problem with the deficit, and somehow people view that as a big problem.
Yes.
The deficit is like, I buy something from you. I paid like $100 US to you. You sell me a T-shirt, and then I'm in deficit. But is that equal or unequal? It's equal because I get my T-shirt, you get your dollars. So I don't think trade is always mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
If you don't need the Chinese products, you won't buy.
No.
That's it, right?
No,
if you sell product to China, if China needs it, China will buy.
Yes.
I mean, that's,
Yes.
If you want to narrow, people often say reduce its deficit, sell more, export more to the Chinese market.
Yeah.
Explore the Chinese market.
Absolutely. We would like to explore the Chinese market. And I think, the economic survey this year, Mr. Quindo, in India, dropped a hint of normalization by making a case that getting foreign direct investment from China can help India improve its participation in the global supply chains through exports. So we are very practical about it. Very, very practical about it.
Very practical.
Yeah, very practical. We all have to be practical to grow. Otherwise, that's the new approach in India, Mr. Quindo. Very, very practical government. And as Einar said, totally national interest first. One last point. I believe we must emphasize, and with the visuals on air, that this meeting happening, a lot of work has gone behind it. Even the fact that this meeting has happened is itself a success. And I agree with General Bakshi, it's not the thaw, it's the beginning of the thaw. But the world will notice that getting these two leaders to meet, shake hands, and start the bilateral process, a huge amount of work has gone behind that, I'm sure. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on that very interesting conversation. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. And viewers, Republic has for the first time put out the images earlier today of the Lashkar terrorist behind the terrorist attack in Gandarbal that took place 3 days ago. And in the context of the debate that I just had, I would only emphasize that it is in Pakistan's interest to realize that when India and China are getting along, they should also end what they are doing, become a country which is a global center of terrorism.
As the probe into the dastardly terror attack of October 20 in Gandarbal picks steam, the face of Lashkar terror has been unmasked. Exclusive images of the terrorist who carried out this cowardly attack has come to fore. Caught on camera is the terrorist carrying a sophisticated assault rifle.
The terrorist, as per the sources in the Jammu and Kashmir police as well as the Indian Army, is believed to be a Pakistani foreigner terrorist, as his moves seems to be similar to what has been of those terrorists that are trained for the jungle warfare. And now a massive manhunt has been launched for this terrorist. Two terrorists are believed to be behind this attack that has taken place and has claimed life of 7 civilians while injuring 5 others in the central Kashmir's Gandarbal district. And this seems to be, as per the intelligence agencies, a planned attack that they have carried out in the heart of central Srinagar.
As per top sources, as many as 43 suspects were detained for questioning. The detained suspects are believed to have helped the terrorist to carry out the attack in Gandarbal, which killed 7 people. The valley is now echoing with one demand: avenge the killing of 7 innocent civilians. It is time to hit the terror state where it hurts them.
Dr. Hamid Khan from Lahore and Irshad Ahmad Khan from Lahore, Sanju Verma joining us as well. I hope you have got the message, Dr. Hamid Khan. We put out the pictures, right, of the terrorists. and two large countries are talking together, India and China, right? You have no sponsors anymore. Okay, they are going to drop you like a hot potato. They have nothing to gain in Pakistan. We have much to do globally. So your last remaining source of support is gone, finished. Okay, completely finished, like your economy. Now I have put out the pictures of the terrorist. You see the pictures of the terrorist? Do you see similar to Kassav, the same backpack? You see General Bakshi, the same backpack, the same stance, okay? Now, you can't disown him. Ye aapka aadmi hai. Don't disown him. Like when we showed you pictures of Kassav, you said, nahi, Pakistani nahi hai. Don't disown him. Ye aapka aadmi hai.
Shall I reply now?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Arnab. To be honest, I am very happy that India has accepted its defeat in Ladakh and now retreating from, Ladakh, and Indian army has been surrendered in front of China's might. That is the reality. The thing
you are not mentally stable if you are saying that. You are not mentally stable if you are saying that because the patrolling is happening along the LAC. It's on the contrary, the Chinese, 1 minute, on the contrary, the Chinese have gone back to the pre-2020 position. The Chinese have gone back to the pre-2020 position, which means that the Chinese have accepted everything they did wrong before 2020. We fixed that. Exactly. We are resuming our, we fixed that. We are now resuming our disengagement process. You don't understand how it works between large countries because you're a small, underdeveloped country. You don't understand how big countries talk.
Undeveloped country, you're a bankrupt state. Give me 2 minutes and Pakistan is a bankrupt state. Okay. How dare you sit here and lecture the Modi government? Begani shadi mein Abdullah Diwana.
1 versus 1.
Now to
that's good.
The attention of the Indian public.
After a good 4.5 years, and you are saying that India, China,
the diversion and accepting the defeat, you have to face it. Otherwise,
India and China have gone back to the position that was there prior to May 2020 before Galwan happened. In February 2021, for the first time, China voluntarily disengaged. Today, we have disengaged in Gogra, we have disengaged in Hot Springs, we have disengaged on the northern and southern banks of Pangong.
You are what you want.
So whom are you trying to fool?
The reality is...
And let me educate you. Let
me speak, or there is no point for calling me.
Let me educate you, then you can rebut me. I will just give some hard facts in 30 seconds.
If you don't want to listen to me, I better leave it. If you don't want to listen to me.
You are the representative of a bankrupt state. Please hold your horses.
Let me say a few words, and then you can say what you like. Please.
On your show. Bhai Sahab, thoda hair rakhiye. You will get your turn. Let me finish what I'm saying.
No, it was my turn and you are trying to jump into it.
Pakistan's economy is less than $340 billion. India's overall economy is close to $4 trillion. We are the world's 5th largest economy, having overtaken the United Kingdom. Okay. You go to the IMF with a begging bowl every 2 weeks. Pakistan's annual
the same mantra. I really doesn't affect me, honestly speaking.
Our monthly exports are more than $39 billion. Pakistan's forex reserves are only $9.5 billion. Our forex reserves are over $700 billion. So Pakistaniyo yahan baitkar
no, the point she's making. I'll tell you the point she's making. Hamid, listen to me. Don't get excited. Listen to me. Okay, listen to me now. Hamid, I'm telling you something. मैं एक बात कह के इसके बाद और कुछ नहीं कहूँगा. Right? What are India's exports? Software, metals, right? Computers, electronics. Pharmaceuticals, IPs,
textiles,
space technology. And what are your exports? What are your exports? What are your exports? Let me finish. What are your exports? You have 2 exports. 2 exports. One terrorists and 2 donkeys. We all know that.
Anything else?
No, just terrorists and donkeys, nothing else. My point is, is this man a Pakistani? I'm asking a question, visuals on your screen. Is this man, मेरी बात सुनिए और जरा मेरी बात जो मैं कह रहा हूं इरशाद अहमद खान जरा गौर से सुनिए, जरा गौर से सुनिए, क्या ये टेररिस्ट पाकिस्तानी है? सिंपल क्वेश्चन। दूसरी बार, क्या ये टेररिस्ट एक पाकिस्तानी है? जनरल बख्शी ऑन वन साइड, बिफोर दैट इरशाद अहमद खान, क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है?
मैं बताता हूं,
क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है? इरशाद अहमद खान आप बताइए।
देखो,
आप बताइए।
देखिए, ना तो पाकिस्तान।
बहुत शुक्रिया जी, बहुत शुक्रिया जी। हामिद खान साहब, मैं बोलने दें, मुझे बोलने दें। हामिद खान साहब, अब जवाब देने दें मुझे। बात यह है कि ये जब तक ये दहशतगर्दी की चूरन चटनी आप बेचना बंद नहीं करेंगे, दहशतगर्दी खत्म नहीं होगी। क्योंकि पहले मुझे ये बताइए,
क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है?
आप पूरी दुनिया,
क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है?
मैं ये बता रहा हूँ,
क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है? टू,
सिर्फ मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि
लास्ट एंड फाइनल टाइम, क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है? थ्री,
दहशतगर्द का कोई धर्म नहीं होता है, नहीं पाकिस्तानी है ये।
मैंने धर्म की बात नहीं की, मैंने उनकी नागरिकता की बात की, एंड इनके सिटीजनशिप की बात की।
के सिखाए हुए दहशतगर्द है, ये आप बता, दहशतगर्द की कोई शिनाख्त नहीं होती।
ये जो छुप के चोर की तरह अंदर आ रहा है, क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है?
चूरन चटनी सुबह
शाम पाकिस्तानी,
छुप के चोर की तरह, ये आप ही के पालतू लोग हैं। देखिए छुप के कैसे आ रहा है। आप अभी कह रहे थे कि बॉर्डर पे आपकी सिक्योरिटी बहुत ज्यादा है, आपके लोग आप ही को मार रहे हैं क्योंकि आप लोगों को तंग कर रहे हैं, हिंदुओं को तंग कर रहे हैं, सिखों को तंग कर रहे हैं, मुस्लिम को तंग कर रहे हैं, कश्मीरियों को तंग कर रहे हैं। आपसे वो बदला लेंगे जिनको आप मार रहे हैं। देखें, इनको खत्म को बंद करेंगे, मुझे बोलने दें या इनको बोलने दें। अब ये आदत है आप लोगों की बेचने की। जब तक दहशतगर्दी का चूरन चटनी आपका बिकता रहेगा, आप बेचते रहेंगे। आप ये देखें कि सवाल मुझसे किया, बीच में चटनी आ गई आपकी। देखिए, चटनी को चुप करें या चटनी को चुप करवाएं या मुझे बोलने दें।
आप एक मिनट मेरे सवाल का जवाब दे। वन मिनट संजू, लेट मी गेट जनरल बख्शी इन। जनरल बख्शी, आई हैव आस्क्ड अ वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चन। बहुत ही एक तरह से नॉर्मल, सिंपल और छोटा सा क्वेश्चन मैंने पूछा है और मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है इससे आपको प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही? क्या ये आदमी जिसकी तस्वीरें हम रिपब्लिक नेटवर्क पर दिखा रहे हैं, क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है? क्या है लाहौर का है?
पूरी तरह सुने, पूरी तरह सुने।
क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है? जनरल बख्शी,
अगर पाकिस्तान,
क्या ये पाकिस्तानी है?
अगर पाकिस्तानी इतनी आसानी से आपके अंदर जा रहे हैं,
जनाब अगर आपकी इजाजत हो तो
बोथ वॉल्यूम बोथ
मियां आपकी इजाजत हो तो हम भी कुछ अर्ज कर ले।
बोलिए हुक्म कीजिए।
एक मिनट
बोलना सच है, लेकिन
थैंक यू
बोलना सच है।
हाँ ठीक है। देखिए, मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि पाकिस्तान के दो बहुत पढ़े लिखे लोग आज इस डिबेट पे आए हैं और हम इसको कंडक्ट करें एक लेवल ऑफ मैच्योरिटी के ऊपर, लेवल ऑफ फैक्ट्स बेस्ड डिबेट, तो उसका साहब कुछ फ़ायदा होगा। नहीं तो हम एक दूसरे पे चिल्लाते रहेंगे, मैं नहीं चाहता। ठीक है साहब, मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि पाकिस्तान की एक पुरानी फितरत रही है टू रन विद द हेयर एंड हंट विद द हाउंड्स। ठीक है साहब, आप चीन के बड़े चहेते बनते थे। आज आपको थोड़ी हैरत होगी जिस तरह से शी जिनपिंग साहब और मोदी साहब हाथ मिला रहे थे। देखिए साहब, वो इसलिए हो रहा है कि पाकिस्तान की, ध्यान से सुनिए प्लीज, ध्यान, मैं आपको सुनना चाहूंगा। लिसन टू मी, राइट, लेट्स हैव अ डिबेट। मैं कहना ये चाहता हूं साहब कि पाकिस्तान की फौज की फितरत है रन विद द हेयर हंट विद द हाउंड्स। आपने ये बाखूबी किया था अमेरिका के साथ, ओसामा बिन लादेन को पाला और बोला कि साहब हम तो वॉर अगेंस्ट टेरर लड़ रहे हैं। अब ये चीन के साथ कर रहे हैं। आपके जर्नलों के सारे बच्चे जो हैं वो अमेरिका में पढ़ते हैं। ठीक है साहब, और आप अमेरिका के पीछे लग्गू बनने शुरू हो गए हैं। तभी चीन आपसे मुंह फेर रहा है। चीन कहता है आप तो कुछ नहीं कर रहे हमारे इंजीनियर्स को बचाने के लिए। क्या कह रहा है चीन आपको? क्या किया है आपने हमारे इंजीनियर्स को बचाने के लिए? उल्टा आपने मरवाया है। आपने मरवाया है। आपको ये इल्म होना चाहिए, क्योंकि इसका आपके मुल्क पर बहुत भारी असर पड़ेगा आने वाले दिनों में। एक चीन है जो आपके साथ था अभी तक, एक चीन है जो आपको पैसे दे रहा है। अगर आप उसको बरखिलाफ कर लें साहब तो मुसीबत आपकी है।
हिंदुस्तान भी हमारे साथ है। हम तो खुद चाहते हैं दहशतगर्दी खत्म हो जाए। दहशतगर्दी का शिकार है आपके प्रोग्राम पे।
China has refused to give money to Pakistan for a rail project running through Peshawar worth $58 billion. आप चाइना के पिट्ठू बन चुके हो, चाइना की सैटेलाइट स्टेट बन चुके हो, but China has refused to fund infrastructure projects in Pakistan that it had earlier committed to. So
हम तो पूरी दुनिया के साथ बिजनेस करेंगे। चाइना की तकलीफ आप लोगों को है क्यों? मुझे ये बताइए सिर्फ। तकलीफ इतनी बड़ी चाइना की है। मैं ही कहता हूं कि चाइना की प्रॉब्लम आपके अंदर से निकलेगी कैसे?
We'll go with the image of the day, which is Modi meeting Jinping. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm ending this program this evening, and of course we have huge debates, and on the other side, in fact, we have a continuous debate on the Congress party allegations about the meeting with Jinping that's coming on the other side. But for the moment, I'm ending this segment with the image of the day full frame on your screen. And as I said, there has been a significant amount of work before this image could become a reality. And that is the image of Narendra Modi meeting Xi Jinping. That very long handshake took a very long time. It's a big breakthrough, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see where it goes. For now, and only for now, this debate ends. The debate continues on Republic.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Co-powered by Jaguar Bath & Light.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.